Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prajachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prajachana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Padivrajagacharya Ashtotara Shuddha Shri Srimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Break fast, right? Break fast is 9 minutes after 10. So, I think we'll make it. We'll make it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 28. Pranjana becomes a woman in the next life. And we're on text 42. Pare. Please repeat. Brahmani cha atmanam param brahma tata atmani vikshamanaha vihaya iksham asmat uparama ha pare brahmani chatmanam param brahma tatatmani Vikshamano vihayeksham smad uparamaha pare brahmani chatmanam param brahma tatatmani Vikshamano vihayeksham smad uparamaha pare brahmani chatmanam param brahma tatatmani Vikshamano vihayeksham smad uparamaha Pare, transcendental. Brahmani, in the absolute. Cha, and. Atmanam, the self. Param, the supreme. Brahma, absolute. Tata, also. Atmani, in himself. Vikshamanaha, thus observing. Vihaya, giving up. Iksham, reservation. Asmat, from this process. Uparama, retired. Ha, certainly. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. King Malayadwaja could thus observe that the Supersoul was sitting by his side, and that he, as the individual soul, was sitting by the side of the Supersoul. Since both were together, there was no need for separate interest. Thus he ceased from such activities. Purport. In the advanced stage of devotional service, the devotee does not see anything separate between his own interest and those of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Both interests become one, for the devotee does not act for a separate interest. Whatever he does in the interest of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At that time, he sees everything in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead in everything. Having attained this stage of understanding, he sees no distinction between the spiritual and material worlds. In perfect vision, the material world becomes the spiritual world due to its being the external energy of the Supreme Lord. For the perfect devotee, the energy and the energetic are non-different. Thus, the so-called material world becomes spiritual. Sarvam Kalavidam Brahma. Everything is intended for the service of the Supreme Lord, and the expert devotee can utilize any so-called material thing for the Lord's service. One cannot serve the Lord without being situated on the spiritual platform. Thus, if a so-called material thing is dovetailed in the service of the Lord, it is no longer to be considered material. Thus, the pure devotee, in his perfect vision, sees from all angles. Om Igantibrandasya Kananchana Shalakaya Chakshulanamaditam Vena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Kam Karidavachalam Pangam Langai Tegrim Yak Kripatamaham Vande Shigurun Diditaranam Vancha Kapadribishcha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right. Translation again. King Maladwaja could thus observe that the Supersoul was sitting by his side, and that he, as the individual soul, was sitting by the side of the Supersoul. Since both were together, there was no need for separate interests. Thus he ceased from such activities. Srila Prabhupada was told by a disciple, Hayagriva, Srila Prabhupada's disciple Hayagriva, told him one time about a dream that he had, that Hayagriva had, and Prabhupada liked the dream. So the dream was as follows: that it's a good dream, but Hayagriva was sleeping, and then he was dreaming that he was having a vision in his dream of Krishna speaking the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield. That was his dream. So that's a good dream. We could be fortunate if we have such dreams. And then Krishna in the dream turned into Srila Prabhupada. And then Arjuna turned into Hayagriva in the dream. It's like a transformation. And Prabhupada was instructing Hayagriva. So Prabhupada heard about this and he liked it. He said, it's good. It's a nice dream. And he said, this is disciplic succession. That the spiritual master speaking to the disciple is just as good as Krishna speaking to the disciple. Because the message is the same, right, as it is. So to hear, contemplate, and not only to hear and contemplate, but to confirm the instructions. In other words, because it's not automatic, like, okay, I heard some Bhagavatam classes, I heard some Bhagavad Gita classes, and now I understand what I should be doing, what I should not be doing. There's a lot of details to it, actually, nuances. So, to confirm that, okay, am I understanding this properly? Therefore, Shiksha Gurus, Diksha Gurus, to help us understand, if we're understanding it properly, to confirm certain understandings, philosophical understandings, and certain, you could say, ways giving us specific directions or instructions and how we should make progress in our Krishna consciousness. Because, like, for example, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has a whole list of different anarthas and obstacles and anarthas. It's a long list. And one of those is, I'm forgetting the Sanskrit, but it's to have unclear conception of philosophical points of Krishna consciousness. Have a clouded conception, so that's a problem. Could be a problem. So yeah, to hear, to contemplate, and confirm, and then after hearing and contemplating and confirm, then okay, we move forward. We have to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. Just like, again, Prabhupada was in India, and this person probably sentimentally was saying, "Oh, Swami, save me!" Right? Save me. Maybe he was saying sincerely. I don't know, but you get a lot of sometimes sentimentality. People are just cheap. Talk is cheap. as the American saying goes. So this man, Swamiji saved me, and Prabhupada said, or the man was saying, only you have the power to save me. And the Prabhupada was saying, that's a fact, actually. That's a fact. That by following my instructions, yeah, you'll be saved. But the question is, are you willing to follow me? Are you willing to follow me? So that is a question that has to be answered individually for every particular practitioner. That, okay, I need to be saved. I need to be not just saved, not where it just salvation-ish or something, but I need to be make progress in Krishna consciousness. I need to be firmly situated in transcendental knowledge. I need to be firmly situated in Krishna consciousness, but I'm not right now. So, so the question that has to be answered by every person is that, okay, am I willing to follow? Am I willing to follow? Now, of course, there's, you could say, like an inner conflict going on sometimes within practitioner's life. That, okay, on one hand, I want to follow, but on the other hand, I don't want to follow. Strictly, the principles of Krishna consciousness. And people really struggle with this, actually. It's very common, struggling. And this is due to the senses and the mind and conditioning and habits and all that. But young women struggle, young men struggle, everybody, so many people struggle. Not everybody, but a lot of people. And they have a hard time finding the willpower to resist, the temptation of illusion. So somehow or other, those individuals, they have to come to the point where they could follow. And even if they can't follow perfectly, they should follow as best as they can, and then gradually develop the strength to follow more and more and more. But a sincere person has to do what they can, even if it's not perfect. And that's actually what separates those who are sincere and those who are not. That the sincere understand, okay, I may be imperfect, or I am imperfect, but at least I'll do what I can. Not that I just throw in the towel or throw in the gumsha immediately after, yeah. So for example, there was a person in the life of Jesus Christ where he came to him, and he was a rich guy, and he said, oh, I want to follow you, please, save me, please, I want to follow you. Jesus Christ said, okay, you could follow me, but you have to give up all your wealth and join me and travel, and pretty much like take sannyas. And the man, he became depressed, and I can't do that, and just he left, right? And then that's when Jesus Christ said, well, it is easier to thread a, what is it? Donkey? No, okay, camel. It is easier to thread a camel. See, this is another thing. The preachers, they use they use examples that people could relate with, right? Because camels, camels. There are a lot of camels where he was. So he didn't say a BMW or a elephant or something. A lot of camels. People ran in the desert, and so he said it's easier to thread a camel through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to attain the kingdom of God. So now, of course, when he's saying this, it's referring to a rich man bewildered by his opulence. Bhogeshvar prasaktanam tayaparhichetasam, right? That one who's too bewildered by material opulence, the resolute determination for devotional service doesn't take place. Like this guy had no determination, no resolute determination to join Jesus Christ, so missed opportunity. someone can be wealthy, like Ambarish Prabhu, for example. He's very wealthy. Henry Ford's grandson, or whatever, great-grandson, but extremely wealthy. But he's engaged in Krishna consciousness. It didn't bewilder him. So, but nonetheless, there are people who struggle, inner conflicts. So therefore, there has to be everyone should have a escape plan. Now, Christians sometimes use this term. They have all these different. One group of Christians use this terminology. It's called escape plan. It's a outline of how to escape from illusion, in essence. So now, of course, when we say escape plan, sometimes the Hare Krishnas or sometimes religionists, they are criticized. They are condemned. They are shunned for being escapists. That, you guys just can't really deal with the world successfully. Maybe you don't have enough brain power to, make it make the bucks to pay for all the, whatever, house and car, this and that. So you just, join an ashram, or maybe you're just suffered a horrible childhood, so you're just trying to escape into some ashram because you can't really manage to do anything else. Like I was talking to one devotee's mother, and she was a little kind of anti-Krishna, but she was saying, I mean, okay, if you guys want to get young men, fine, but I mentioned this before, but if you guys want to get young men, fine. Just don't get the ones who could have a bright material future for themselves. Just go get the homeless guys and, the guys who are cracked out and, about to commit suicide or something. Get those people. Half of their brain has been fried from overindulgence and sense. Just get those people. But don't get don't go to the colleges, universities, and try to get people from there. So, this person, she was saying, this kind of like also her thought process is people, they use ashrams and temples as a means to escape. So I don't mean escape in that way, and I also don't mean escapist in the sense of, okay, we're just going to run off to the Himalayas and live in a cave and live off a chickpea, chickpea a day or something, which is very difficult. But because Prahlad Maharaj isn't into that, right? He doesn't advise us to do that. He didn't do that, and he doesn't advise us to do that. He advised us to stay in the cities and try to extend Krishna consciousness as far as possible to others. So I don't mean escapist in that way, but I mean that we should all have an escape plan, how to escape from illusion. And Krishna says, Daivyesha gunamayi mama maya dharatya mama evye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So it's very difficult. This, Krishna says, the divine energy of mind consists of the modes of material nature is very difficult to overcome. But those who surrender unto me can easily cross beyond it. So the general outline is there. How to, you could say the escape plan, how to get free from Maya is there. But still, every devotee, even though the general plan is there, every devotee should have a specific plan. And that's what intelligent people do. They plan. They plan for the day, they plan for the hour, they plan for the future. They, they just have plans. Whereas that saying, those who fail to plan to fail. So automatically, if people don't plan, then they're a failure, which is a good saying. So for each particular devotee, there are, guided by the Shiksha gurus, guided by the Diksha gurus, guided by sadhus, guided by scripture. They all need to be personally guided, have a personal escape plan, how to get free of illusion, how to become more and more Krishna conscious. An escape plan, I don't mean to say like a negative, like just trying to get out of illusion, but also a plan to engage oneself fully in becoming Krishna conscious and trying to give Krishna consciousness to others. And that's what we should utilize our intelligence for, instead of utilizing our intelligence for just how to make a cozy, comfortable situation for ourselves in this world of birth and death, and old age and disease, and lots of other suffering. I mean, sometimes as devotees, we actually, sometimes because we're relishing that to some degree, right? The ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we may lose vision of how much suffering is actually in the world. There's a lot. People are jumping off bridges every day. Maybe. At least they're committing suicide every day. They do it different ways, but you know how much suffering you have to be to do that? To decide that, all right, I'm in a lot of suffering. I'm going to drive to the local Coronado Bridge and stand there and just jump. You have to be in a lot of suffering to do that. A lot of ignorance, a lot of suffering, a lot of depression. Anyways, recently, unfortunately, there's a devotee. Anyway, she comes here and she makes garlands, durée, but her friend, who's like in her 40s, a woman, she would come to the temple sometimes, this woman, and so she has some piety and some devotional credits in her spiritual bank account. But yeah, unfortunately, within the last month, I think, I don't know what she was going through, but she just decided to, drive to Coronado Bridge, stand there, and with her dog, and I don't know why she brought her dog, but whatever. I don't know people's conceptions, But with her dog, she just jumped, And, yeah. Oh, okay. So Damodar Kumar Prabhu said he heard that yesterday in Ocean Beach from somebody when he was out on book distribution, that this story and how it was their friend. Yeah. Yeah. So she was suffering a lot, and she couldn't really see any way out, and she couldn't really see how she could escape from that suffering. And a lot of people do that. Just on a anyways, I won't. So yeah, therefore it's when we go out on book distribution, for example, if we're a little perceptive, which devotees are, and not only a little perceptive, devotees are quite perceptive, then we will see the suffering of the world. Just like I'm thinking of like Buddha, Buddha's in his palace, and it was a specific plan of his parents, right, to keep him there and not see any of the birth, death, old age, disease going on, right? Just there in his palace. Imagine if you just stay in a palace. And palace means a real palace, opulence, got everything you need, enjoyment. I'm sure, big acres of land to, I would imagine, to for the child to play on and this and that. Not like he's in prison or something, but then one day, as the story goes, he goes out and he sees, somebody dying, goes, sees somebody sick, and, all these different, disease, this and that, a lot of suffering. So, when we go out into the world, or go out to distribute books, go out to preach, then we'll see that. There's a lot of suffering. And that should be an impetus for us to, be merciful, in the sense of, not distribute our mercy as, little messiahs or something. We shouldn't think that. But distribute Srila Prabhupada's mercy, Krishna's mercy, in the form of transcendental books. Just like, it's a big disease actually within religion, I don't know, so a lot of the times you have, what do you call those, the soapbox Christians? Now, of it being in Hinduism, it being in, the Muslim, Islam and this and that. Anyways, I'm just thinking of a recent example. Devotees were on a book distribution, Damodar Kumar, and he had a really intense guy come up to him, Christian guy, yelling at him and very intense. Actually, Damodar Kumar actually got it on video. He showed me. But the guy was so just arrogant. He was saying, "I'm perfect." He said that. Like, a lot of times people don't say that, It's just kind of like he said, he just can't, "I'm perfect." And why did he say he was perfect again?
You can only preach if you're perfect.
Oh, yeah, he said, you could only preach if you're perfect. And I'm perfect. And I'm a Christian. And because I'm a Christian, I know what I'm talking about, and you don't know anything, practically, in essence, he was saying that. And yelling at him. I was like, oh, man, this is... Yeah. So you could only preach if you're perfect, and you could only be perfect if you're Christian, and I'm Christian, and I'm perfect, therefore I could preach, and you can't preach. So, anyways. So, I said, God bless him. From a distance, yeah. But then I was thinking, well, God doesn't need to bless him because he's already perfect. No, he needs. So, so we could see, we're perceptive. This fellow is actually in the category of heavily in the category of somebody suffering. They're actually suffering. Now, of course, due to his conditioning and this and that, we may not be able to give him a book. Actually, we can't give him a book. The guy's not going to take it. But the pious people who are suffering, there are many, many pious people. They have not become. They're not in a what do you call it? Extinct species. Pious people. They're out there, and a lot of them. Of course, there's different degrees of piety, but there's pious people who will take books, right? Like Shaniqua, right? She got a book. Walmart, Mukunda gave a book to somebody. Shaniqua, pious. Anyway, he was telling me about her. Nice lady. Gave $20, took some books. So devotees, so although Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam, it's temporary, it's full of suffering, this material world. So devotees see that. But due to their Krishna consciousness, there's also another thing going on, is like Prabodhananda Saraswati says, Vishram Purna Sukhayate, that because of their Krishna consciousness, they see the whole world as full of happiness. So that means that those who are Krishna consciousness, they're happy, and they see, the whole universe full of happiness. Vishram Purna Sukhayate. But those who aren't engaged in Krishna consciousness, there's actually no happiness. And what they think to be happiness is actually not happiness at all. It's just some temporary mitigation of pain, suffering. So understanding those things, then Srila try to help people, and try to try to help them by giving them transcendental knowledge by which they can understand these things. And gradually, if we do that, then we will utilize, as this purport is saying, we utilize everything in service of Krishna, service of the spiritual master, so-called material things, or you can say material things. We utilize them in the service of Krishna, and by doing that, those things become spiritualized. And as it's saying here, that in an advanced understanding or vision, the devotee, they see no distinction between the spiritual and material worlds. In the perfect vision, the material world becomes a spiritual due to its being the external energy of the Supreme Lord. And this is due to, the devotees, you could say, and I don't mean it in a, California, Southern California sense, but due to the devotees' awesome vision, right? They see things in the right perspective as, spirit souls and Mamai Vangsoji, everyone is part and parcels of Krishna. And this is all due to them getting rid of all the other interests within their consciousness. Gradually, they're just getting rid of all the, because people have a lot of interests, this interest, that interest, so many different interests. But as it says here, that we should have, our interest should be one, and our interest should be in serving Krishna and the spiritual master. Just like we, right, what is it? Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittite Kor Akya, right? It says, my dear brothers, please make the words of your spiritual master one with your heart. Yes. One with your heart. And don't desire anything else. So of course it is a little bit of a gradual process, generally, right? Of course, Prabhupada said it can happen in a moment, but still, Rupa Goswami says, for those, which is usually most, I know for me, but that if we can't, in a moment, but then therefore patience, right? Utsaha nishchaya daryat tat karma pavartana. So, all right. So, does anybody have any questions or comments? Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Will anyone credit you for not escaping when you could have?
Yeah.
In fact, if you escape, suppose... We're talking about escapism. Thanks. If you escape, suppose an apartment building's on fire, and you escape, and you bring some people out with you, you're a hero. If you run out of a burning building and you leave your children inside, your brother, your wife, what kind of person is this? So really, if we accept that the house is on fire, samsara, to get out, that's just intelligence. And to try to pull other people out with you, that's altruism. They just, just thought I'd throw that. It's a nice analogy. From Prabhupada, I heard it this morning.
Nice. Yeah, there's a case of devotees who, there's a fire. Yeah, Australia. There was a big fire. Yeah, famous, a big fire in the building, and devotees were engaged in getting ready for the Rath Yatra, so they're sewing a big, canopy for the Rath Yatra cart, and so yeah, the big fire, and people were up there, help, right? So the devotees, they put out, strong men, I suspect, right? Grab the canopy and jump. So they jump, a few people jump, and saved them.
Saved their life.
Yeah, saved their life. So front page news. Prabhupada heard about it. He loved it. Good publicity. So.
In San Diego, downtown San Diego, on the other side of the coin, the materialist, there was someone who was going to jump. I forget the name of the building, but it's that big bank building, SanDiego Trust Bank is called. Anyway, the guy's on the 5th floor, he's ready to jump. Crowd gathers. They started saying, jump, jump. Somebody said, throw me your car keys, you won't need them. Somebody else said, how about your watch? They were compromising the guy. And they said, hey, throw me your wallet. The guy got so discouraged, he went back in the window.
Wow.
He didn't jump.
Wow. That's amazing.
Just the opposite.
Because it was Christmas yesterday. Now, of course, it's people, they celebrate Christmas as being the birth of Jesus, or those who are Christians. And of course, a lot of people say, oh, we don't really know the actual birth date. But anyways, but a lot of people, they celebrate as the birth. But so there was a story which I think devotees heard and read recently, somewhat recent, maybe within the last year, but I believe there was a woman, and she was a very devout Christian, and she had a dream. Well, I think she had a dream. The first dream was that, oh, you should become a vegetarian. So then after that, she became a vegetarian. It was like God's revelation, you should become a vegetarian. I don't know if Jesus appeared to her. I think so. But then in the next dream, she had a following dream. And then in the next dream, Jesus Christ actually appeared to her and said in the dream, within the next few days, there is going to be a saintly person. They're going to come and knock on your door. And they're going to give you something. Want to, give you something. So you should take what they offer. So they say, okay. And you can imagine for a Christian having a dream, Jesus Christ. Yeah, waiting for the knock. So then some days passed, and then she gets a knock at the door, and she opens the door, and there's a young man there, and he says, oh yeah, hello, nice. I have these books, and meditation, yoga, and different things like that. And there's a devotee distributing books, and she said, oh, you'd be surprised, but I had a dream recently, and Jesus Christ, he appeared to me, and he told me there was going to be a saintly person who comes and who's offering books. So yes, I'll take them. So she bought the books, and yeah, she had a big painting of Jesus Christ. So 7-foot high painting of Jesus Christ. So
a short one, and then a little. Bhakti Maharaj's mother, she had several children who died, and she wanted she's Syrian, and there was some tradition that if you dressed your child as a priest, the child will live, like Prabhupada's mother ate with her left hand until Prabhupada was old enough to ask, why are you doing that? And it's a tradition that if you do that, the child will live at least till the child can ask. So she dressed him as, and she said, if you let this child live, she would pray in the church, I'll let him become a priest. When he became a devotee, she was fried. He said, well, you prayed for that become, She said, I should have been more specific.
yeah.
But Indradumna Swami told me this one, and probably the devotees have heard it, but just for fun. He's going door to door in a rich area in Paris. Bang, 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 knocks on the door, politely. The maid comes, all, French maid. No, they're too busy now, move along. So he goes, whatever. You get so many no's. Every no is a step to a yes. So he just kept moving on. He's, a couple of doors down. He's knocking on the door. The French maid comes running and says, come back, come back. They want to talk to you. El Patron, whatever. They want to talk to you. So she comes back. He comes back. Turns out that they were having a seance. And all their rich friends sitting around the table was rocking, and, this and that, communing with some ghost. And then the medium, in the voice of whoever the departed person was, there's someone knocking at your door selling books. Buy these books. And the ghost said, the medium must have been bona fide, because where did the medium get this message? It must have been a bona fide medium. So the medium, the ghost channeling through the medium said, buy these books. It will be good for you and good for me. So the ghost was doing book distribution. They bought a set of books. It's Indradumna Swami told me this.
That's great. Yeah.
Add to the list, Indradumna Swami. Let's go into the details.
Interesting. Dev Amrita Yes.
They're out there. The ghosts will help us. The demons will help us. The crazy Christians. But we got to go out. Jesus.
Oh yeah. Speaking about the crazy Christian, this arrogant,
He's gotta be
you know,
out
this
there. If we're not out there, it doesn't happen.
this guy who was yelling at Damodar Kumar. While this was happening, there was a young man and a young woman witnessing it, and they came to the table
That happens.
to help Damodar Kumar, fight the guy off. And then they all started kind of arguing. Eventually, the guy left, but they bought books.
Yes,
So.
see, Christians are arranged.
So, but yeah, with like you mentioned about Bhakti Sundar Swami, David Amrita Swami actually had a similar thing. My spiritual master sent out an email in which, they were discussing one day, David Amrita Swami and my spiritual master, and David Amrita Swami told him that his mother, David Amrita Swami's mother, was praying before David Amrita Swami was born that, oh, please give me a son that would become devoted to God. So, so then later, he was born and became a devotee, and then he talked to his mother about it, and similar thing. Be more specific,
He told me that same story too.
Yeah.
But he also told me that she was a very, very devout Christian, but not just an intellectual, intelligent lady, very devout, intelligent. And now she's reading the Bhagavatam.
Oh, great.
Yeah. No, she's becoming a devotee. His brother was the top attorney for Toyota Motors, and he's a devotee.
Okay.
All glories to Deva Amrita Maharaj.
Yeah. All right. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.